What's up? It's Aaron with New Bus Farm, and I've been working on a project this year that I'm pretty excited to share. Most of you probably don't remember, but part of my native fruit orchard is American Persimmon, Diospyros virginiana, and I got 10 different varieties of scion wood from 2 different sources, and I grafted them a little over a month ago, and I wanted to show you the results. Looks like a lot of my grafts are taking, and show you a little bit of pruning I did to help those grafts along. And yeah, let's get started. All right, so the first tree that we have here this is important, guys, when you're grafting, because you're not going to remember unless you're doing like one variety on one tree. So this is 100-42 is the variety. I got it from England's orchard, and this is the grafting date, so 5/5/21 is when I grafted this. So most of these grafts that I did are whip and tongue grafts, and I did some modified cleft grafts as well, just experimenting and learning a new skill. So this one actually here looks like I don't see much new growth on it. Now it is getting a lot of shade before. There was up here, there was a lot of branches over the top, so this thing was in the shade pretty much all day. So I think that's, from what I'm seeing and observing, that's one of the bigger problems that you're running into, is when these things get shaded, they just tend to not like to make it. So what I did, as you can see, I pruned here, made a cut here, here, and here, and really took back a lot of this vegetation. So now this cutting, or this scion wood, or this graft, is going to get a lot more light. I'm hoping maybe it's not too late and maybe it'll take off with some extra sun. This one, you can see, is looking a lot better. I've got bud swell on it. It also had some shade. I pinched back and trimmed back a few places around it as well. So that's one of them. And we had a pretty significant hailstorm, so I'm still finding a lot of dead stuff on my trees. Okay, so this is probably one of the least promising trees that I have going. It is 100-45 from England's, and what you can see with the scion wood, well, it looks like I've got maybe a new, yep, got one little bud breaking right here, but it hasn't really taken off, or there's not real strong growth. Oh, looks like this one's got a little bud swell to it too. So I'm not discounting these yet. What I've been doing is, first of all, coming along at the base of these trees. If there's any growth on, if there's any new buds forming on the stems, I'm pinching those back. And then especially here along the branch coming up to the graft, I've been pinching any growth back there. A lot of times not completely, because I don't want the tree to abandon that branch altogether. So if I can leave like this here, if I can leave a little tiny bit of growth, I'll leave it. And I'm notice on like these, I'm leaving some branches of the seedling variety. First of all, I'm just curious about what kind of fruit it's going to make. I don't want to take everything anyway, and so it'll give me a chance to see what fruit it's making. Now moving on, 100-46 from England's is my next variety here, and you can see this one. This is a nice healthy looking graft. So what I did with all these pieces of scion wood is I actually cut the scion wood in half in most of these cases, and then I made 2 grafts, and I did that for a couple reasons. First of all, since these are this is my first time grafting, I thought the best chance, I'm going to make some errors, and so to give these grafts the best chance, I wanted to graft more than once for each variety. So if I made a bad graft, there'd still be another one to take its place. So that's the reason I did that. What I did here is called top working. I basically, on most of these, you'll see the ones farther down towards the end that weren't really top work necessarily, I cut them back most of the way. So top working means you're leaving a lot of the tree intact and you're actually adding on to branches. But you can see both of these grafts here, a nice new growth, and here, nice new growth, are looking good. Oh, the other reason I was cutting back is that, or cutting those in half, is because this is a crazy windy area, middle of Kansas, and I wanted less leverage basically. So I wanted the shorter scion wood means it's getting blown on less, was my thought also. So hopefully giving them an additional chance. Okay, so over here we're running into a lot of the same thing on this tree. Here I've actually got this is D128 Dollywood from England's, but I also had some extra proc, and I put proc on here as well. So these two are Dollywood, and then these two are proc. Okay, so I was running into the same issues here with shading. So here you can see I've got kind of a pile here that I got kind of aggressive with this one. This graft looks really good. It's really, you can see, got real strong new growth. I need to come back. I've got some wire that I'm going to actually, some rigid wire, like number 9 wire, that I'm actually going to splint these with, again, to help them survive the wind. This looks really good. You can see I've been in here making some pretty aggressive cuts to try to get, this was pretty much entirely in the shade. So that was the reason for this cut here. Just trying to get some sunlight down. You can see the ones that have more sun are the ones that take off. And so that's what I'm trying to do there, is get them sun and keep them alive. And you can see I'm actually, so I want to keep this alive. And you can see this here. I believe this is actually hail damage. I've found those spots in several places where it looks like they've been whacked. We had golf ball size hail, and it really did a number. You can see a lot of dead stuff I'm still finding on the trees. Kind of took a beating. Anyway, I'm leaving some living growth here, or some competing growth, I guess you'd say, some of the seedling on this branch. This is going to keep sap flowing all the way down this branch. The fact that we have leaves here is going to keep sap flowing and hopefully encourage this to stay alive. And then basically once this takes, if I can get this to take, then I'll come back and prune this off, which will send all of the energy to that. That's kind of what I've been doing here with a lot of these too, is just slowly pinching back on things to help push resources their way. Here we got a bud breaking here, so this one looks like it's going to take. This one had a lot of shade, so I made some cuts, try to get a little more light. We'll see if that helps. That variety is H63A, also from England. All right, and then this tree also has 2 varieties on it, and like I said, it's really good practice to make, because I would have already forgot what all these were. This graft here, it's got a little bit of bud swell, hasn't taken off yet. It's another one that I've made some pruning cuts on this tree to get it some more light. And you can see I did the same thing here. So I've got this branch here is the main branch, and I actually trimmed it back because it had a lot of new growth and it was really reaching way far out this direction. So what I did is I trimmed it back and just left one small shoot. And the idea was there that I've taken the energy away. Hopefully I'm going to cause an oxen reaction, which will cause all the way along this branch, should cause growth of any remaining, and so hopefully push energy here. And but I'm leaving this one piece of growth on here to keep sap flowing. So that's my reason for that. Here you can see this graft. This is H120 from England's, and oh, I was going to say, this graft here came from a guy named Dan Kostka, and the graft, it was actually from Redfern Farm, and I was a little too late to get in on Redfern Farm's scion wood sales. So but I was given Dan's name as someone who may have extra, and so that it's actually from Redfern Farm, but Dan was nice enough to send me that, and it looks like it's hopefully going to take. And then this again, H120 from England's. This one's got new growth here. What I've been doing here, you can see I left a little bit of seedling growth on this branch. That's going to keep sap flowing to the branch. And then what I've done is I've pinched it back. So I've stopped it from growing out and continued to steal energy, but it's still photosynthesizing. And so it's still keeping sap flowing. So that's kind of what I've been doing here. As I get farther down, these are the trees that I started to make a lot more aggressive cuts on. So this is Proc. This is the one where I had some extra scion wood and grafted on another tree back there as well. Here the Proc doesn't look as good. I've got a little bit of bud swell, but it also looks like those buds are drying a tiny bit. We'll see if they take. Looks like I got some bud swell here as well, so we'll see if they take. This one doesn't seem super happy or like it's taking off as far as some of these others. Here are the ones that I made the biggest, most aggressive cuts on, and these were some of the first that I did. Okay, and you can actually see this one lost the tape, most of the tape, so you can actually kind of see how I did these. This is a rubber band here, and so I wrapped it really tight with rubber band. This is actually a modified cleft graft. You can see I actually split this off center, and then this graft went in off center on that split, or sorry, split it off center, then the graft went in, and you just lined up the cambium layers. There's a lot of good videos on the internet to help you learn that, but you can see this one, I mean, I've got some seriously thick, awesome, healthy new growth off of it. So what I'm learning is I was worried about really hacking away at these trees, and I really wanted to try to top work, but it looks like the ones that I was more aggressive with and basically cut all the way back are the ones that I'm having the most healthy, vigorous growth, which makes sense. Just all the resources from the tree are basically forced into these branches, these new cuttings, but it's risky because, like I said, I'm new to it, so I was worried that I wouldn't be good enough at it. So this one was this whip and tongue. You can see, sorry, back to this. I wrapped it really tight. Then I did oh shoot, buddy tape, and it's like a wax type tape, and I wrapped this whole thing to seal it up. And all of my scions I wrapped all the way down the scion wood to keep the moisture in. That's necessary on some trees, not others, and I'm not sure on persimmon, so I went ahead and did it just for good measure. Then after I did that, see this one, the tape had, I actually pulled the tape off because I had a bud that had popped on the seedling side underneath the tape, and it was pushing the tape open, so I actually pulled the tape off, and I need to put it back on. But the idea of the tape, I came back with the tape, was to reinforce it a little bit, but then also to keep it a little cooler, because we're seeing some really hot temperatures. And so, but this graft, I don't know that it's necessary to come back with the tape. I might do it just for good measure, but I'll definitely need to come back really soon and get these reinforced, because if we get some really heavy wind, I'm worried we may break our grafts with the amount of growth we got on there. Looking really good there. So that is WS 8-10, and it's also known as Barber's Blush. So that one's that one. That's from England. Here's another one that I cut back on really hard. You can see it looks like this graft had originally looked like it was going to take, and then it dried out. So it may or may not still take. We'll see. And then this one is looking really, really good. So here's that other graft, and it is a tiny, short little graft. Okay, but it looks really healthy. It's got a huge amount of growth on it. So again, I need to come back and probably reinforce this. And then this, I may leave this just out of curiosity. It doesn't seem to be affecting the new variety, so I may leave it on for a while, and even long enough to see if I can get some fruit and see if there's anything cool about the fruit that comes out of it. So that's it. That's kind of the update on this project. And let me know if you have questions. Put them down below. I'll try to get back to you. Yeah, I'm learning, and it's been a fun project, and I'll continue to give you updates on this as I go. And hopefully pretty soon, within the next couple of years, we'll have some really interesting fruit to taste. All right, take it easy.